Evening, 10:13, April 21st, 1868. Doesn't matter how many people were around me, be it my children, the count, the maids, the guests. I have been feeling so terribly lonely. It is not like Heidi wants anything to do with me right now. Who can blame her? And Jean-Paul, mon bon, is too young for me to converse with. The guests see me as nothing more than a doll to play with, and the maids are both terrified of me and not people I can easily talk to. Half the time I am unsure if Frida even knows English, given our positions and status. I started to feel a yearning and nostalgia for how things were when they began. Before I realized this was the tale like that of Little Red Riding Hood who gets devoured by the wolf, and not of those happily ever after endings. There was a time where he made me feel special, made me feel whole and desired. Was that time gone? Was that time real? I found myself making my way to the Count's room tonight. I kept trying to stop myself. I even halted for a good period of time outside of his room. Even as I knocked and entered, I felt every urge to turn and run from myself and my actions. It was too late. He was not there yet, at least did not appear to be in the darkness. My thoughts were still trembling with my desire to leave, but I ended up venturing further in, coming up to his bed. I exhaled a deep breath, which was shortly followed by an intense gasp as he seemingly came out of nowhere and called my name in question. I turned to see him already right next to me, which was quite impossible for a human to do with no sound or implication that he had just entered or was already there before I came in. I began to stroke his face and tried to plant a tender kiss on his lips, but he turned away from me, halting me, as though he was repulsed and disgusted by my actions. "Don't you love me?" I began to cry. "You must have loved me. At some time you must have, no?" He scowled and answered,
Do you honestly think that I, of all people, can feel love? Are you really that foolish?
"You mean to say that you never once cared? 10 years of marriage and nothing? I've never once been special or different in your eyes? Isn't that why you convinced me to wed? Isn't that why I am still alive and the mother of your children?" I was almost climbing on him, trying to fight for his attention and affection.
It was never real. Anything you forced was love,
He was pushing me away.
fascination, and lust. Did you ever truly love me, Ivor? We were both games to each other. You bore me now.
It was all sweet nothings, pretend and pillow talk. Then just this once, just for tonight, pretend for me once again. He almost seemed taken aback or confused by my words. "Do you not think it's only right that I ask this one thing of you? After all that you've done to me, made me believe and do, make love to me once more. Please. I need something, even if it's not real." I was in tears and I felt I was making demands in vain. "I need something that is tender and sweet. Something that is not cold and brittle and painful." He then roughly grabbed me by the wrist, pulling me in and staring at me with his piercing blue eyes, almost as if he were looking for something. Was he checking to see if I was drunk? Maybe he thought this was some trick. Perhaps he was trying to find something attractive from me. Suddenly, I felt his hand stroke my jaw, and his thumb made its way from my lips. There was no more rash movements. It was gentle and a caress. He played with my quim in a way it hadn't experienced for such a long time, as he had carefully laid me in his bed with gentle kisses and soft strokes of my body. He entered me on his own accord, and even finished inside, but only after I was made to reach my excitement at least once. That was the way things had been before. It was passionate and tender. Had I only need ask. I knew it was fake. Nothing was truly real about it in the end. But it made me feel a way I hadn't in the past 10 years. I am sure that if he had said the words that he loved me, I would have believed him in that moment. It was fulfilling. Nothing like the night we made Jean-Paul, and probably nothing like the night we made Heidi. Though I am still unsure as to when that was. To make things even more queer, he is allowing me to sleep in his bed tonight. I cannot recall the last time I slept in here, let alone in his bed.